All right, I'll call the regular meeting of the Anderson County Commissioners Court to order on April the 22nd, 2024 at 9:31 a.m. Show that a quorum is present, all members of the court are present in the courtroom. And all right, I'll ask everyone to please stand as I'll ask Commissioner Mims to do the invocation this morning, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flag.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, we'd like to say thank you, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to gather here today. As we make decisions for this county, Lord, we ask you to be with us, Lord Jesus. Help them be the decisions you want them to be. We ask you to bless this county, bless this nation, bless each and every one of our families represented here, and watch over us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we've got one person signed up in public comment, and Henry Kitchens, Mr. Kitchens. Morning, Mr. Kitchens.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Henry Kitchens, and thank you all, commissioners and judge, for your consideration for that air conditioning unit that we have at our hall. It benefits the DAV, the veterans of Vietnam Veterans of America. Not only that, also the citizens, because we're also polling place for the citizens to come on. It benefits basically the whole Anderson County. We do appreciate your consideration in that matter, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
sir.
thank y'all
Thank
for
you.
your past service and what you do
Everything.
for the community too, so thank y'all. I think that was the only person signed up, right? All right, next item is item number 4 is consent agenda. The consent agenda is considered to be self-explanatory and will be enacted with one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. However, any consent agenda item may be removed for individual consideration pursuant to a request by the Commissioners Court member. We've got budget amendments. Numbers 19, 22, and 23. And we've got bills to approve, and also, do we have any utilities crossing county roads, Commissioner?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. And we've got the sheriff's report, county clerk's report, the treasurer's report. She was at conference last week, so she'll turn both those in at the next regular meeting. But the county clerk's report, tax assessor collector's report, district attorney's report, auditor's report, district clerk's report, IT reports, JP reports, constable reports, veterans report, collections reports, historical commission reports. We got minutes for February, the regular meeting and the special meeting for February the 26th, 2024. May need to double check that and see if there's another stack to sign.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were both together or not.
I'll have to look at it.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. All right, item number 5 is consider and take action on preliminary plat for Harmony Acres RV Mobile Home Park on FM 645.
Yes, sir. Judge, this will be, we have Carlos and Susan McGriff. Y'all like to come forward? And we worked on all their stuff, making sure everything was together for their preliminary on Friday and everything is in order. Is there anything else that y'all needed out there? No, sir. Okay, and they do have all of their, morning, Carlos. They do have all of their utility, paperwork. They have all of their water paperwork for the delivery
How come you didn't bring no briskets?
This has already been an existing
How come you didn't bring no briskets?
mobile home, RV park, but they just, they're extending it, building the lots and stuff a lot bigger and making it a better place. And so they're coming in, submitting it to our regulations and building it up to parts of their specs and what they want. I'll let them say a little bit.
Good morning. I'm Susan McGriff. This is my husband, Carlos. And our land is on 645. We have a total of 25 acres. We've sectioned off a little over 8 acres of it. And we are looking at developing a long-term residential rental property on one side, and then on the other side, we're preferring long-term RV slots. There are currently, as Commissioner Mims said, 2 existing mobile homes there that have been rental property for several years. We're looking to add more homes for long-term residential and then add the RV lots. I think everything's pretty self-explanatory. We have already put in a water line from Four Pines for the long-term residential side. There is a main that runs through there that will support those homes, so we do have community water already there. Obviously, we don't have meters, but they've been approved. We will be able to get them. As far as power, Encore there's already existing power there. Part of it has already been upgraded, and getting the additional power is not going to be an issue at all. All of our septic studies are completed. We have a complete plan to make sure that everything is in compliance with the county. I don't know what other questions y'all may have or what else I need to tell y'all about.
I mean, you've
Road
met,
signs or anything, Commissioner?
no, sir. All the driveway frontage and everything is off of Farm Market 645, so TxDOT is already approved.
Yeah, there's an
the
existing
entrance and
road through
everything.
that property. When you turn off 645 and enter our property, there is a road. When we purchased the land in
there
2020, that road was already there. We have improved it. It was pretty rough when we got a hold of it, but we have improved it, and we will continue to maintain it and improve it.
And actually, this property is catty-corner from their other business they have. This is the owners of Rump's Barbecue, so they're actually just catty-corner right across from there.
We're really looking to fill a need for housing out to service the prison units out there. That's also what drove the need for the RV park. You have a lot of folks that work out there but don't live here. They have residence elsewhere, and they do live out of RVs. And we want to provide them a nice, clean, accessible place, convenient to work, affordable, where they can come in, do their job, and go home to their families on their days off.
And they had no.
And feed them,
And feed them, yeah.
no Carlos.
And they had no problem with coming up with their electric will serve, the guaranteed water, Four Pines, Mr. Starr signed off, and all the preliminary measures have already been met. So at this time, I just asked the court if we could go further with the process.
Anybody got any questions?
I have none.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Harmony Acres RV Mobile Home Park on 645.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chapin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
you.
appreciate what you're doing.
Miss Susan, you take care.
I'm going to.
And listen,
I got it.
It's, yeah.
You sure you didn't push it? We in court now. You sure you didn't push it?
No, as somebody said, they know that it happened because he's still working.
Thank y'all.
Y'all have a nice day.
Thanks.
All right, item number 6 is consider to take action on a renewal agreement between Anderson County and the Texas A&M University Systems and an agency of the state of Texas, Texas Forest Service, for performing services on public lands, Davy Dogwood Park. The term of the agreement being April 8, 2024 through April 27, 2029. And this is just a renewal of an already existing agreement. I contacted them because I wasn't sure what it was.
I do have a question on this. Out there at Texdorf, we haven't done that in years, and there's probably 4 to 6 inches of pine straw, you know, where the trees are planted. And if something ever did spark up out there or something, it could, you know, it could get bad. I wonder if that's something we could talk to them about possibly doing a control burn at Textor in our pine trees.
They might. I've had a few conversations with them about controlled burns, and they've kind of changed their policy. Now, they might do it for a county,
Right,
but as a practice, they don't do controlled burns. Now, they may have somebody that helps to stand by or something like that, but
right, okay,
as far as doing the controlled burn themselves from a liability standpoint, they quit doing that from what I understand. Okay. Now, just so y'all know, there's gonna be some controlled burns up at the Gamers Yard.
right, yeah,
But, you know, Parks and Wildlife does that.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
but, I mean, we can ask.
Yeah, that would be
'Cause
something
that's probably not a bad idea. If you
yeah,
got that
'cause
much fuel on it.
it's I mean, it's, you know, them trees been there for 20-something years, and I think we did one control burn there
Okay,
years ago.
but you're familiar with the contract, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. Any questions or concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the renewal agreement between the Anderson County and Texas A&M University System and an agency of the State of Texas Forest Service performing services on public lands, Davy Dogwood Park, for the term of the agreement being April 8th, 2024 through April 27th, 2029. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so ordered. All right, item number 7 is consider and take action on approving reimbursement in the amount of $1,766.19. And that's their remaining balance, from what I understand, the Tucker Volunteer Fire Department for repairs to engine 4951 with American Rescue Plan Act funds or ARPA funds. Is there any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. All right, consider and take action on the annual contract between Anderson County and Southside Volunteer Fire Department. My understanding is they've turned in their, financial statement, and it seems everything's in order, so and this is their annual contract for the 20,000. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chapin, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. Item number 9. Who's got the quote on this?
What's that, sir? Oh, you're on my agenda item. Okay. I was reading other stuff. Let me
The
go.
reason, before you hand that out, I've got some paperwork I need to give you, because back in March, I asked Boone and Boone to, y'all asked for, extra bids on this. And,
Man, did I drop that? Let me get Miss Kathy to print me off another email. I must drop.
okay, well, before you hand it out, he sent out to about 5 different vendors. And, I gave him like, 3 from local that I knew of, and then he did like 2 more. I've got an email, I just got so much stuff.
Yes.
Let's see right there. Oh, here it is. I got y'all a quote of his email, and, Dick Nolan, who is one of his managers, actually, he'd been in the hospital, and that delayed things a little bit. But I sent him a message back in March the 12th to, put bid specs together and bid this out. So, the 26th is when they're supposed to have those in. So,
You're 26 of this month?
yes,
Okay, so that'll be for the roof.
it'll be before our next,
But you mean for the roof of the?
for the roof of the county barn.
For the county barn.
So let me, I just didn't want to, because he's listed in the bid packet, and I didn't want to disclose his bid for anybody.
Okay, Judge, so the 5,000 bid that they gave us last time wasn't their actual bid?
It was theirs,
Well, okay, y'all turned that bid from
down.
Boone and Boone,
Yes, sir.
so I didn't ask them to do this again, I asked them to put a bid package together and then send it out to vendors to get multiple bids like y'all asked me to.
Were we paying Boone and Boone to do that?
Yeah, that's at 5% of whatever we award is the quote that we award, it's 5%. That way we got somebody that's actually putting the bid specs together, so everybody's bidding apples to apples. So,
Okay, well, I had, I actually had 3 without,
And it's up to you.
that 5%. And they were pretty reasonable
well,
and cheap.
I mean, I didn't know that, I sent him the information back in March. So, that's the only thing that I want, before anybody's quotes got handed out, I want to make sure that somebody didn't see what the quote was, or who it went to. Is it- I know
But I mean,
it went to, I know it went to Mr. Westbrook in Frankston, it went to Shepherd's, here in town, and it went to Super H, and there was maybe at least a couple more people.
So it's up to you. I mean, you went out to do them yourself. I don't remember asking them to do that, but if they did that, it's up to you.
Well, I had,
You go off the 3 you got, whatever you
I
want
had
to do.
Super H Constructions here, and Garrett Remodeling, he didn't get in enough time to get his in, because he was gonna subcontract it anyway, so he decided not to do his, and he's a local guy here. And then Logan Brown Construction, out of the bids that we had, out of all of those 2 were the lowest. And
Well, let's decide before you put a quote out there, cause I don't wanna put a quote out there, do y'all wanna go with what? Boone and Boone's already sent these out with a bid date, so if you're gonna go with yours, I'll just call them and tell them to cancel it, that's up to y'all. They've already sent it out,
And they're supposed to be in by Friday, Judge?
the 20, let's see, they're supposed to have them back,
4 o'clock, yeah,
yeah, do you see it on there?
yeah, 4
Okay.
o'clock on 26th.
Yeah, I wanna make sure we had it before the next commissioner's court, so. I thought they'd already sent it out when I called him, I didn't know Dick was in the hospital, so, anyway. It kinda delayed things, but.
I know we're
we
spending
do
the
whatever
county's
y'all
money,
wanna do.
but I
I just
mean,
wanted to make sure you had the information before we made the decision to go with one or the other.
Whatever you want to do, Rashad. You can get it done or wait, whatever you want to do.
it wouldn't bother me. I thought that these were pretty fair and reasonable, and but I mean, if we had started something beforehand, which I didn't know that either, that's why I went on and contacted these guys and had. I actually called about 4 or 5, and these 3 came back, and then the last one he decided to pull his this morning, but I do have 2 of them here, and
I
But
just
do you
didn't wanna
wanna-
compromise
I think-
whatever he quoted
do you wanna wait?
in the
And
public.
I think we're gonna
You can go
probably
with one of them too.
have to have a
and he can
special
call them
meeting
and tell
next
them
week
cancel.
anyway. Give you time to look at theirs. I mean, it's
Go
up
with
to
yours,
you.
Rashad, whatever you want to do. It's your deal.
as long as this is still coming out of the county's money, because that's the county's born. I mean,
Permanent
I have
improvement.
no problem with even going with one of these on this small of a project, because it wasn't that big of a project. It's just, I wouldn't want us to be in any bad blood with Boom Boom, but, I mean, I think that the first bid that they had gave us, considering the bids that I received, I think Commissioners Court's at liberty to go ahead and pick one of those.
Well, I think you can, that's up to y'all.
Okay.
I just wanna make sure that we
I'll
didn't
say it.
compromise whoever's quote that was, that you had, cause I didn't know you went out for quotes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, until I saw the agenda, I knew somebody did, so, y'all asked me to do that back in March, and I was trying to get it done. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, it's okay, I appreciate it.
I thought it was already being sent out, and then, Ron told me that Dick was in the hospital.
So how many quotes do you have right now, Rashad? 2 or 3?
I have 2 on hand right now. And if you consider, even though we scratched down the last one, but I had one guy who didn't bring his, he said he's just gonna because he was subcontracting, and he's probably gonna be higher than what the other guys did. He pulled his bid. That was Garrett Remodeling, but Logan Brown Construction, and Super H Construction. At this time, I'll go ahead and say their amounts, because we're gonna go ahead and vote on it, I guess. So, Logan Brown Construction was $3,500, and Super H Construction was $2,750. So, considering the last one was $5,000, I figured with these two, just to fix the skylights to keep the water from coming in from when we had the hail damage, the last hailstorm come through here. The guys could work in a dry place when they're changing oil and cleaning up on rainy days, so,
And that's gonna take care of materials and all.
yes, sir. Yes, sir,
You
materials,
Put it
and
in the form of a motion.
it's 10 skylights.
Do what?
It's 10 skylights, material and all. Yes, sir. Okay, somebody will.
I'll make the motion
That
to
we
accept the 2,700 from
It's $2,750.
2,750 from Super H to replace the 10 skylights.
Now, they're not gonna put 10, they're gonna put,
No, they're
they're
gonna
gonna
be.
be the clear.
They're gonna be the
Said 10,
fiberglass
the number
back there.
10.
What you got?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
the number 10,
Yes,
the
sir.
skylights. There's 10 of the skylights in there. And accept the bid for the 2,750.
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir.
2750.
2,750.
Yes, sir, here it is.
Super H.
I'll go ahead and give you this.
All right,
Pass it down to Mark.
all right, motion by Commissioner Chapin, do I have a second?
Second.
To award the bid to Super H Construction for $2,750. Replace the skylights at precinct 2 Bourne. That was a second from you, Kenneth, right?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So motion by Commissioner Chapin and a second by Commissioner Dixon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain just from the simple fact, I've been working with them.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll just save you the 5% too.
Yes, sir.
Judge, can we go back to number 7 just to ask a question?
Sure. And let me just,
Okay,
for the
I'm sorry,
minutes.
I'm sorry.
All right, so that's ordered, okay?
And Mr. Dixon, if you'll pass that down.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Number 7,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Megan, in the bid, in here, we have an invoice for 6,000, but the remaining was only the 1,700?
Yes, sir. I don't actually have the enclosure, but that's the amount that the court allotted that's left to be paid.
Okay.
So we're only gonna reimburse them for that
The bill they
amount.
presented was 6,000 and something.
But we're only gonna pay them the $1,766.
It's that part, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I
And
just
that
wanna make
finishes
that
at
clear.
50,000.
Yeah, because they paid for the whole thing, so we'll just reimburse them $1,766.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, item number 10, is that all you need?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Item number 10, consider and take action on, taking county equipment to a storage school for career day. Mr. Meehan?
Yes, sir. I believe that's Wednesday, the 24th. Miss Mancera, the principal, they're having their big career day with Mr. Kevin Neesmith, the counselor, and they have got with Encore, and they got with the fire department and a few other entities, and they're gonna bring over some equipment. I think the police department's gonna bring over a truck and some other stuff too. And Encore's gonna bring some bucket trucks and stuff, and they would just like to have the road construction sector because they believe that all kids, they want all kids to seek a higher education, but some of them is gonna seek a career-driven field, so they would like to see them with hands-on career equipment in front of them, and I said, if the court approved it, I'd bring out a maintainer and maybe a dump truck or something like that. Cause I think they reached out to Walmart also.
Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion to approve allowing county equipment to be taken to storage school for career day.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Dixon, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. Item number 11, consider to take action on declaring the pole mag
Oh, I
as
got
a
to have
surplus
that last.
from precinct 4 Road and Bridge Department. Commissioner Hill.
Yes, sir. Since I was able to purchase a reclaimer, I'm not gonna need my bow mag anymore. I do not, let me see, let me find it. VIN number 86278 Victor. And I'd just like to declare it surplus, and I've got in touch with Auctioneer Express, and if this goes through, they're gonna come down and take pictures and get it on auction.
Art all, anything further?
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion to declare OMAG as surplus from precinct 4, road and bridge.
So moved.
And you want it in there to sell at auction?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Dixon.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chapin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. Item number 12, consider to take action on donating to the Palestine Independent School District Ag Department. Commissioner Hill.
Yes, sir. When I first come in office, we redid a bridge and there were some clips that were left there from, I'm assuming Commissioner Watkins. And we used those clips. You weld them to the I-beam and then you nail your boards to them. I cannot find where he got them. Looked on the internet, looked everywhere. I was talking to the ag teacher at the Palestine High School, and they have a machine, you put a picture in and it cuts them. So I carried him a sheet of metal, and he cut me 100 clips. And I asked him about paying. Of course, you can't pay them, so he said we could do a donation, and I was gonna see if that's something we could do, maybe like a $250 donation. I don't know if we can do that or not. That's the reason I mean,
Well,
he
that's
said,
what I was
he
wondering.
said he would do it. And, you know, I told him, I said, I'll take it through court, see if we can do a donation or whatever.
Let me ask you this, cause what about reimbursing them for the materials?
I'll give them the material.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought that might be an option.
No, I'll give them the material.
Megan, do you know of any solution?
I'm not sure.
My first inclination
Would
is,
be
I don't
reimbursement.
think we can do it.
Right, I didn't know, that's the reason I put it.
I would like to make sure before we
No, I-
did that, yeah.
And I mean, you know, if I have to, I mean, if we can't do it, I'll do it out of my pocket, give it to
We
him for
might have
doing
could
what,
have done
what he did, you know, cause I mean, I can't find the clips anywhere. I've looked on the internet. I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but we started on the bridge. I can't find them. So,
I don't know if we could have done an interlocal agreement with the
Right.
school. Because both parties gotta get something.
right.
But we might could do it. I don't know if we can do it now. That's a question we can ask.
Right.
Could check on that.
And like I say, and he told me, he said, we'll do it. I mean, you know, he said, if y'all can make a donation, great. If you can't, you know, it's not a problem, so. But I just wanted to put it on here because I didn't know if we could or not, so.
If we can do maybe an interlocal agreement for.
If we need,
Manufacturing or
right,
whatever.
if we need something in the future, we might can go that route or something.
Yeah, I just wanna be
Right,
cautious on that.
okay.
Can you check on that? Megan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Megan.
And Allison may know on that one anyway. So we'll pass on that for now. Item number 11, consider and take action on the purchase of a Canon C359 IF copier for the tax assessor collector's office. Mike,
The tax assessor requested a new copier for her office. So, we put together a quote. It's $3,188.89.
excuse me, what was it, 3-1?
$3,188.89. This is to replace one that's in there now, right? That's obsolete, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
NT? All right, any questions?
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion to purchase the Canon C359 IF copier for the tax assessor collector's office in the amount of $3,188.89. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered.
Sir.
Item number 14, consider and take action on a price increase for meal services for the Anderson County Jail from Five Star Correction Services effective May 1st, 2024. This is based on a price redetermination for the Consumer Price Index for urban consumers. Sheriff Flores.
Yes, I believe this is contained in our contract with the service. With 30 days' notice, they can do this. We provided their letter to y'all indicating the new amounts that they're requesting, and it's based on the increase in food cost and production for our kitchen. It's something we have to provide.
Do you know from an annual standpoint, is there an estimate on how much that's gonna impact us?
I don't
From a
know.
budgetary standpoint?
I don't know, sir.
I believe it's about 80 cents a meal.
Yeah, per meal cost is what they went up on.
We got an estimate on maybe what we did last year on meals?
We're talking about average of $3.25 a day.
Yes, sir, that's what the average looked like.
Judge, when we budgeted last year, I budgeted for a 5% increase.
Okay.
Now, it got cut back during budget talks, but I believe we still have enough to sustain that increase that's still in the budget.
I think we do have some contingency too, right?
Yes, sir.
We spent $477,000 last year
On meals?
on contract food service. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We budgeted 475 for this year.
Yes.
Well, that comes on in.
All right. Any questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the price increase for meal services for Anderson County Jail. Five Star Correctional Services effective May 1, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Thanks, Sheriff. Item number 15 is consider and take action on a proposal from U.S. Imaging to scan the deed of trust and official records books for on-site for Anderson County Clerk. Be paid from Records Archive and authorize the county judge to sign the contract. Mr. Staples.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. That's basically what we do every year, scanning books. This is for deed of trust books and the index books for the OPR records that are not computer generated and have not been put in quick links previously. Questions?
But this is coming from your Records Archive fund.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, Commissioner? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor say aye. All opposed? So,
Thank y'all very much.
thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Item number 16 is here from County Auditor on information requested by the County Commissioners regarding magistrate concerns of jail inmates brought to the court's attention by Sheriff Flores at the prior Commissioners Court on April 8th. Ms. Lambert?
I did call Cherokee County HR Department and asked about their magistrate, if they have an associate judge or someone that does extra magistration. And they said that they have one associate judge that comes in once a month to do an AG docket for the county court at law.
Not magistration?
No
No.
magistrate.
So, and they pay him or her $500 or $600 that one day a month that they come in. I also spoke to the DA to see if there was other counties that she knew of. And the problem that I think we'll face is there's not counties our size that, you know, have an associate judge. Like, they're all bigger counties. Like the sheriff, he sent me several counties that he got information from, and they're bigger counties, so that's the only information I have.
Who were some of them, do you remember?
Bell County,
Bell County, Denton County, and Galveston County. Each one uses a slightly different methodology.
yes.
So that's pretty much what you found out? Nobody our side?
Not that I could find, no.
Okay. All right.
So, do we have a solution to solving this problem?
No, sir, that's
that
why I
was my
brought it
question.
before the Commissioners Court. Excuse me for interrupting you, Commissioner.
No, sir, that's all. I was just saying, that's my question I was gonna ask too.
I really don't know why the problem exists. In the past, rotation seemed to have worked. I believe it worked for many, many years. I've been here since 1996, and from talking to others, I understand it was basically the system that was in use when Judge Thomas was sheriff, and it worked, and it was in use when Judge McKinney was a JP and county judge before, and it worked. And at some point before I took office, it started having trouble. So it was something that I inherited. We had a meeting in my first year, I believe it was, with County Judge Johnston, and we made no resolution to it. And we met again after Judge McKinney took office. We made no resolution. But we're in a position that I brought to your attention that if we don't have a resolution, we're going to be violating someone's civil rights. And as an elected official, it's my job to run the county jail and to preserve the rights of the individuals there. So it's something that we have to do.
And does this problem stem from people refusing to magistrate for you? Is that
Yes, sir.
what this falls from?
In the past, it was always done by the justices of the peace when it that came to the jail. Coming to the jail seemed to be problematic for some. With modern technology, thankfully, the Commissioners Court helped support that. We provided methodology that IT can support, that you don't even have to leave your office or your home, as the case might be, to be able to perform those duties. And so we tried to remove those obstacles. Nonetheless, we still have some personnel that are not willing to do that, and it leaves us with a gap in our coverage that we just cannot support because it puts Anderson County in the position of violating the rights of the inmates in the county jail.
And that week on call is just 1 week, right?
Right now, the problem is only consistently one on-call week. However, I've been notified that there's another JP who may opt out. That's an individual decision by those JPs that we have elected in the county, and you'd have to ask them what their intentions are. We have others that, without question, show up, do their job, take care of all the magistration work that we need at the jail, and do everything else that they're asked to do, and we have no complaints of them.
But the video magistrate is no problem, correct? It will work if,
It will work, yes.
okay.
It's
Let me
a,
ask you a question on the video. Are y'all scanning the documents and putting them into the live scan?
yes, the documents get scanned in.
My understanding is that's not happening anymore. So, anyway, you sent out a letter and an email.
Yes, sir.
To a
we did.
number of people with my name on it, okay? Even the Palestine Herald Press.
Yes, I did.
So I have not, since I've been in office, put anything on this agenda to talk about magistration because there's a lot of misconception about the way this works, okay? So I've got copies of the letter that I want to pass out. Oh, that's me.
I sent out a letter to several people.
I got the floor
and-
right now.
Yes, sir.
Since you sent it to the Herald Press, Penny, I got one for you. You got that one, that's right, okay, and you got the email, right? Okay. Well, I'll have copies of a lot of other stuff for you before the day's over. Now then, number one, the letter starts off essentially, and I don't want to be interrupted. I worked all afternoon yesterday trying to prepare all this. It starts off, reference Article 1517, magistration duties at the county jail. That is a false narrative. There is no requirement in the state of Texas for any magistrate, any judge, to go to the county jail to magistrate inmates. There's no state law, there's no court case that says they have to do that. So that's a fake narrative. The other thing is, it says, Judge, as you, addressing me, Judge, as you well know, Judge Gary Thomas has refused to perform any of the Article 1517 magistration duties at the county jail, based upon the rotation system in use by the other justices of the peace in your office. Judge Thomas is scheduled to go on call at 5 p.m. today. Okay. Now then, I've got the letters from our, essentially the results of our meeting back around March of 2023. Now, like I said, you put this on the agenda, I didn't, okay? So I wanna make sure everybody's on the same page of what's going on here. Number one, and here's the Article 1517 in the Code of Criminal Procedure. And it says duties, it doesn't say duties related to magistration in the county jail at all. There's no reference to that. It says duties of arresting officer and magistrate. Make sure the auditor gets one. You get one of those last ones, Mark, I'll make sure you get everything, okay?
I need one there.
We need one more. Let me see.
One more? I got plenty. And essentially it says, this is Article 1517, duties of arresting officer and magistrate. In each case enumerated in this code, the person making the arrest or the person having custody of the person arrested, mandatory language, shall, without unnecessary delay, but not later than 48 hours after the person is arrested, take the person arrested or take the person before some magistrate of the county where the accused was arrested, okay? Now, so there's nothing that says anything in here that a judge has to go to the county jail. That is a courtesy that the judges, when I was doing it, I'm still doing it on my rotation. I volunteered to jump in the rotation to try to pull my weight, and I asked all the other judges to do that. Some did it, some did not, okay? That was my resolution, is to, number one, put myself in rotation first before I ask anybody else to do it. And I've got the documentation to back that up. Now, so, I've got a lot of stuff enumerated in there in writing. And there's certain requirements on the judge, once that person is taken before the magistrate, for them to go over the rights with them, request if they, ask them, do they want a court-appointed attorney? In some instances, the judge could automatically do that or hold an indigency hearing. But number one, they have to determine probable cause, whether or not that person was legally arrested or not, based on the probable cause and affidavits, probable cause and complaint affidavits that are filed with the judge. There's times I go down there, and the other judges too, when there's no probable cause. They didn't articulate enough facts. I had some the other day. They didn't swear to the officer signed it, but the person taking the oath did not sign it. So I had to cut the person out of jail. That's what it says I shall do. Okay, that's what it says a magistrate shall do. Okay, so there's certain requirements that the magistrate has to do, but it says after they're taken before the magistrate by the peace officer or a law enforcement agency like the sheriff's office. Okay, so the duty's on the peace officer. Now, there's a, let's see, let me find my letter here. And this wasn't, there was no resolution to this before I took office, so I tried to come up with some kind of solution. I try to look for solutions instead of just problems, okay? And to try to be fair, and this went to all the judges. After our meeting, in there in my conference room. Dear judges, in the interest of developing a workable plan to cover magistration of the jail inmates, I've recommended an easy to implement plan to cover the rest of the year for 2023. It does not require an undue burden on any of us as magistrates. It would only require myself, Judge Duran, and the 4 district judges to cover 2 weeks each out of the year in the current rotation schedule. I placed myself in the rotation schedule and have listed a place for each of the other judges to choose the 2 weeks that works with their schedules. This is a request, and each can choose to participate or not, and choose to magistrate on the weekends or not. I will do my part with the 2 weeks in the rotation listed in the attachment. I will decide based on my schedule at the time whether I magistrate on weekends or on my scheduled 2 weeks. And this was in writing after I got the email this past week. I needed to figure out what my family's doing on the weekend to see if I could jump in there and do it again. Okay? It was not my week on rotation. No, Judge Thomas advised he would do magistrations if the inmates are brought before him at his office. Okay? Now, he changed his mind because of some incidents that he told me that happened, but whatever, I'm not gonna go into that. The above information was to know where we were at the beginning of yesterday's meeting with the judges. So I put this in writing and sent it to all the judges. It is also outlined what I propose as a possible solution and what I'm prepared to do on my part. To summarize and memorialize the outcome of the meeting, and my understanding is the following. Those present were Judge Duran, Judge Fletcher, who advised she was representing the 4 district judges, Judge Wesley, Judge Lightfoot, Sheriff Flores, and myself. After lengthy discussion and hearing my proposed solution, these were the judges' positions. Judge McKinney will do his 2 weeks in the rotation schedule as proposed. During those 2 weeks, he would schedule and magistrate around his daily schedule and court dockets with jail staff. In most cases, inmates would be brought to the courtroom as they were without problems a few weeks ago. As they were done without problems a few weeks ago. Judge Grant would think about it and decide later. Judge Thomas had decided prior to the meeting and advised he would do magistration if inmates were brought before him at his office, which is what state law requires. He would not participate in the rotation going to the jail. Judge Lightfoot and Judge Wesley advised they would continue to magistrate according to the attached schedule. Judge Todd could not be at the meeting because of a schedule conflict, but advised before the meeting he would continue to magistrate according to the attached schedule as he had done in the past. He looked at the proposed schedule and felt it reasonable. Judge Fletcher advised the district judges would not be participating in the proposed rotation to do magistration. Sheriff Flores advised he would schedule an officer around the judge's schedule to bring inmates to the courtroom if needed, but would not transport to Judge Thomas' office for security concerns since he has no courtroom at the office. I sent this to all the judges and the sheriff. Please let me know if I have incorrectly summarized anything. Thank you for each of your input. So I just wanted something to document the meeting, and so I'll let everybody have a copy of that. And essentially what I was doing was asking for help. That's all I was doing. Because again, there's no requirement for the judges to go to the jail on any of us as a judge. None at all. Somebody's got one. Give me another. Everybody got one there?
Yes, sir.
You got one for Mark?
Yeah, I didn't give it to him.
Yeah, he got one.
Okay, all right. There's a second section in Article 1406 in the Code of Criminal Procedure. It says, must take offender before the magistrate. Okay? It says the person making the arrest or the person having custody of the person arrested shall take the person arrested or have him taken before unnecessary delay, but not later than 48 hours after the person is arrested, before the magistrate who may have ordered the arrest. Now, there's another section in the code that requires that they be taken before the magistrate. Now, if you remember, I said that I remember there was some kind of exceptions back years ago, and that may have changed, but I found an AG's opinion. It's an older one, but I don't know that it's been overturned or changed. And it's M5. It was done by, let's see, January 12, 1967. Now, statute has changed some, but actually in the Code of Criminal Procedure, at that time, the wording was essentially the same, about the 48 hours. Okay? There may have been some other language added, but essentially what it says, the opinion is requested because of the following facts. The Sheriff's Department of Travis County and Police Department of the City of Austin during the night shift of their personnel have the occasion to make arrests or of accused during a period of time in which there is no magistrate available in the morning. So essentially what this was addressing is not totally addressing what we're talking about today, but it showed that they were recognizing that sometimes there's no magistrate available. And so the question was, is this going to cause a problem in prosecution for the district attorney, or in some counties, a county attorney, to prejudice the criminal case against the state on behalf of the accused? And essentially, the summary it says an officer, other than an arresting officer, may take an arrested person before the magistrate if otherwise done in compliance with the provisions of Article 1406 when a magistrate is not available at the time of the arrest and prior to the time the magistrate becomes available. The arresting officer goes off duty. So I'll give you a copy of that one. Look that up, they actually changed it on the website in AG's office, and it now shows CM-0005. So I guess for their system to be able to look up AG's opinion, it did that so it would recognize it. I recognize that the sheriff has, and actually this is by statute, it's in the Code of Criminal Procedure. Under 17.033, it's release on bond of certain persons arrested. Now, this is what the statute requires, and it's alluded to in another AG's opinion, but it says down in section B, except as provided by subsection C, the person who is arrested without a warrant and who is detained in jail must be released on bond in an amount not to exceed $10,000, not later than the 48th hour after the person's arrested. If the person was arrested for a felony and a magistrate has not determined whether probable cause exists, so that, like I said earlier, the judge has got to determine probable cause. That's part of making sure that you're not violating the 14th Amendment right to due process. So essentially what the legislature did in the statute, and they restricted the magistrates and the sheriff, and essentially the sheriff, he has to release them on that bond if it's gets past the 48 hours, okay? Same thing on a misdemeanor, 24 hours, and the amount is $5,000, okay? So,
But the sheriff can set that.
well, it's not really, he talks about setting it, but it's really set by statute. The legislature set it, okay? And truly, I tend to agree with him. That's not the best solution, okay? But that's not for him or us to determine. The legislature set that law. That's the way I look at it, okay?
That's
They made that determination. I actually have the Medina District and County Court's plan, prompt magistration, and they cite, their plan cites this statute word for word. In other words, their plan says cut them loose on a $10,000 bond or less on a felony and $5,000 essentially on a misdemeanor, okay? So that's by statute. That's not on him, that's on the legislature, is what I look at, okay?
May I speak
Well,
to that issue right there,
Right, but
Judge?
I don't wanna do a dissertation, but yes, sir, I'll give you the opportunity. I
To-
still
to-
got things to say.
Yes, sir. To that particular section where it says to release, it also says you can't do that if it's a crime of violence in your criminal history. The peace officer bond that you're referring to is true, 24 hours misdemeanor, $5,000, 48 hours felony, $10,000, but it does not apply to anybody that's got a crime of violence in their criminal history or currently arrested for a crime of violence. So the sheriff or any other peace officer cannot do that.
Okay, but there's an exception to that, okay? And it's in C, in 1701.033. It says, on filing of an application by the attorney representing the state, a magistrate may postpone the release of a person under subsection A or B for not more than 72 hours after the person's arrest. So if you've got one of those situations where you got a violent crime, I agree with you. You know, it doesn't look like in that other section you got that option. But if you you got somebody that's done a violent crime, you contact the DA and they file the application and you've got 72 hours potentially, okay? So there is an exception and the legislature put that in, okay? I mean, that's the way I read it now.
We would have just as much trouble finding a DA on the weekend or after hours or holidays as we might have a magistrate. So it really doesn't solve our problem again.
But that's not the magistrate's situation. That's a whole different thing, you know? I mean, you could have a conversation with Allison, and if she's got somebody on call to take that and file an application, that's not something that can't get done. That's the part about cooperation that I'm looking for. So,
Well, that's what I'm looking for, is resolutions and cooperation, because
and I realize you're in a bind here. I understand the issue, okay? But I want everybody, I'm tired of the politics. I want everybody to come together and work together. That's what I was trying to do when I first took office. And I mean, the rotation is there, and some choose to do it, some choose not to do it, okay? I mean, my deal is if you've got a van, we gave you a new transport officer, you got with the grant and everything, you got a $9 million budget with the 500,000 added to it. I went through and looked at all the budgets since 21. And we've gone from a little over 6 million to now we're close to $9 million that this court has done for the sheriff's department. So you got more people, you got more money, you got more vehicles than any sheriff in the history of this county. And I took inmates to district court on my own, by myself, at least 8 that I remember. So, I mean, the duty of the sheriff is to take them before the magistrate. So my deal is load them up in the van and take them to Judge Thomas's office. And I mean, I would not want to say that I couldn't secure some inmates to take them to a judge's office. But I mean, that's not my prerogative there. I'm the judge. I'm not the sheriff, okay? And of course, I've got other handouts on the opinion you quoted in the letter. This is the other issue I want to talk about, okay? Because it is important. So let me ask this: who was the person that came in magistrate? Because I called at 10:14 to the jail to go magistrate, okay? When I figured out I was going to be able to do that, I called the jail because I had planned. I've been helping. Joe calls me, and if I've got time, I've been here after 5 o'clock when they bring him over here. So I'm trying to do my part, okay? But I'm also doing EDWs, which are done by magistrates, and I'm doing 99% of those on emergency mental health warrants anywhere from 11 o'clock at night till 5 o'clock in the morning. And that happens all the time. So I'm trying to pull my weight, and I'm just asking everybody else to work together and to do that too. But this is the thing. Who was the person that came in the ring? Because they told me, I called and I said, how many you got? I talked to one jailer, and I asked Miss Jones was there, I know her, and Tia. I don't think they were working that day. And it was Miss Sines. I think Miss Sines was a supervisor, and I said, how many you got? She said, well, none. The Henderson County magistrate just left. Okay. So, anyway, my plan was, if I could do it, is try to do it on Saturday, and then if we had to do some more, is do those on Monday, because a lot of times I get those on Monday afternoon if they don't get magistrated. Okay, but so who was the person that came on Saturday morning?
It was a justice of the peace from Henderson County, as you indicated, Milton Adams.
Okay, so as a magistrate, he's being paid as a magistrate, as a justice of the peace by the county of Henderson County, correct?
I imagine he is.
Okay, so if there's any money paid, it wouldn't be to Milton Adams. Number one, there was no contract. And there is some latitude where there's things like commissary. The court cannot, you can contract for commissary. There's a few things, and it's limited, but you can sign a contract for some of that stuff, okay? But essentially, and I've got AG's opinions and statute, but just a summary is that this is the contracting agency for this county, okay? I recognize you do have some limited authority to do that, okay? If the jail is full and you got inmates laying on the floor in there, like we did years ago, we had to deal with those issues. And we contracted with other counties to take, and we did that last year, where y'all had inmates that went to Henderson County, okay? So the thing about it is, the Commissioner's Court has to do that contract, and the fees set. But if the court refuses to do it, let's say the court says, well, you can't take 20, you can only take 10. We're limited. We can't tell you that. That's for you to make the determination, because you gotta make sure it's a safe jail, okay? So that you do have some limited ability, but this was a contract for services that you're asking the court to pay. And we didn't even have a chance to set a fee. The contract should be with us. But the thing is, that contract is not with that individual. That would be an interlocal agreement between Henderson County, just like we did with the jail inmates. He's not getting the money. It's gonna go to the general fund of Henderson County. It's the same as if a constable serving papers, okay? They can't go do private process, because they're working. When are you not the constable? When are you not the JP? You're 24/7. You were elected to those positions. That money goes to the general fund of the county they work for. And that's my opinion. I mean, the auditor can get an opinion from our district attorney or somebody else. So that creates an issue. The other thing is there's certain requirements of that justice, okay? So, and I want copies of this for the court. I want to see his training for the PSRS to make sure he had access to that data. I want to see his certificate for TCIC TLETs with DPS, because if he's looking at information that's in a CCH or criminal record, and it was given to him by our county sheriff's office, then he can't look at it unless he's got the TLETs training. Okay, and I got the handout from DPS. Essentially, somebody can't even look at that data, and this is listing local law enforcement, jailers, magistrates, and court staff. Criminal justice practitioner certification is required just to look at it. If they're going into TLETs, and the PSRS system has a portal where somebody can go in and look at CCHs. That is regulated through DPS by the FBI, okay? So we all had to take that training to make sure we got access. I can tell you this, right now, in the state of Texas, and this is the deal. The legislature created this, okay? But there's miscommunications between different agencies. There's not a coordinated effort on making sure all this is done. all right? So I checked, and I can promise you this, there's some judges that are doing magistration that at least they're not listed in some of the systems. Because I got email on one of them from OCA, okay? I got another on bail, okay? And it indicated, and I asked you, we talked about this last time, when the municipal judge is going down there, she's just doing the Class C misdemeanors, okay? She's not doing the Class A and B. So the inmate's standing there week before last, at 9:30, she magistrated inmate. This is a problem for you in your jail too, overcrowded and not getting them magistrated. This is the same thing you're talking about. So at 9:30, she magistrated 3 inmates. Some of them on misdemeanor B and above, and then a Class C. She took a plea on the Class C, and she left without magistrating on the other charges. So at 3:30 or so, I get a call from the chief jailer, and he comes and he says, Judge, Judge Johnston didn't magistrate the inmates except on the Class C. And Judge Wesley called because he had surgery, and he was still taking care of business, okay? He called and Joe told me that he refused to come magistrate the inmates because the municipal judge should have magistrated them, and he wasn't gonna do her job. And so I'm sitting there, I'm thinking that Joe, he's right. Judge Wesley was right. But Joe has got a problem. He's got inmates. It's a Friday. I said, bring them on. But I want the municipal judge's paperwork to show that they were not magistrated. I'll even tell you on the complaints, I contacted the PD, the city police department. I contacted the PD and tried to get hold of the supervisor because the officer on 3 probable cause affidavits and complaints, and I've got copies of them, the officer signed them. He did his job. The other thing is another officer can take the oath. Well, we could not decipher whether they put their name and their rank and everything underneath the signature line, but they didn't sign on any of the 3. I tried to contact the officer to see what their intent was or let them come up here and sign it while they were still in jail. Couldn't get a hold of them. I had to cut them loose on the 2 charges that I had, the B's and above. But the other judge took a plea on them, and they're serving time in your jail. Because to me, the probable cause affidavits and complaints were not executed properly. That's that determining probable cause that's on the judge. And I had to make a call, and I'm gonna make a call to make sure that I protect the constitutional rights of that inmate that's standing there before me, okay?
Judge, on that municipal judge over there I've studied and looked into her deal. They said she was contracted to do Class Cs. Were you talking about she didn't do the Bs, the As and the Bs?
Hold on just a second. Glad you asked that question. To April Johnson, City Secretary of Palestine, Texas. I'm requesting a copy of the contract between the City of Palestine and your municipal judge, Brenda Johnston. Sheriff Flores made reference to her contract in Commissioner's Court on April 8, 2024 regarding magistration of jail inmates. As per our phone conversation yesterday, April 17, 2024, requesting a copy, you indicated there was no contract. I just wanted to confirm in writing there is or is not a contract. Thank you in advance for your response. There is no contract between the City of Palestine and Municipal Judge Brenda Johnston. So there is no contract. So that's what I'm talking about. All these false narratives that are running around here and miscommunications and things are being misconstrued, and I'm tired of it. Other thing, hold on a minute. See, the other thing is about, have they taken their training? That's why I want certificates from this judge on this CJIS online training, showing cybersecurity training. That's a requirement for the FBI with DPS. So there's 2 DPS offices that you have to be current in, not just one, and with Office of Court Administration. Now, there may be municipal judge training that she's taking some training, but right now I have an email from Office of Court Administration. Let me find it. Because I see this as a potential liability for you and us. I'll paraphrase, okay? I'll find it here. Oh, here it is, okay. This is to the pretrial manager, Texas Office of Court Administration in Austin. I said, please confirm whether or not Judge Brenda Johnston, Palestine Municipal Judge, is signed up for the PSRS system to do magistration required by 17.15 in the Code of Criminal Procedure. Question 2, whether or not you have a record of Judge Brenda Johnston's completing the training required of magistrates by OCA related to magistration required by 17.15 in the CCP. Now, I'm gonna be real open about this. There could be training somewhere else, okay? There could be training that maybe that it's been done. So I wanna make sure that's real clear. But what they have in the record, it says Brenda Johnson is not registered to use the PSRS system. I have not received any training records for her regarding completing the judicial education required by Senate Bill 6. That's my response. That's the email, okay? So that creates some problems because I contacted DPS, TCIC, TLS, and they can't see anything either. And then I contacted CJIS Online, and there's nothing in there. The 2 clerks for the city are signed up in TCIC, TLS, okay? So they're in there. I can't find anything else. I'm not saying there's not something there. I'm just saying that from if we got sued over something like this, because a magistrate had to stay the rest of the day and didn't get magistrated like 1517 says that morning, you had to feed them meals. They stayed all day long, and they could have been magistrated and out on bond that morning, reduce your count 3 people. That's what I'm saying. Okay? So, I'm just really tired of the politics. It seems like it's all about the politics. And another thing is you didn't CC the district judges in that email with that letter about me not coming to the jail. See, I just didn't respond to Choke because I saw where this is going. Okay? I could kind of see where it's going. If he'd have called me on the phone, I'd have talked to him. Okay? But I called Saturday morning to go magistrate. I was going to do it. So, I don't like the criticism, and in that letter, you criticized everybody sitting right here for having an unsafe jail. So I can tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to call the director of the jail commission, and I want an inspection on that jail on behalf of everybody sitting around here, because you criticize everybody, and we've given you a $9 million budget. That's where I'm at.
Judge, that sounds like politics.
No, it's not.
You're the master of that, big boy.
Look right here.
Do any of you feel criticized?
No, sir. All
It
this,
says-
all this has been said, and we still don't have a solution. And
That's
I
what I'm
don't,
before
I don't
That's right,
know-
this is
Okay?
just
All
a,
right, well, I'm trying to work on a solution, okay?
Okay, and that's what this court's responsibility. I'm hearing all this, but I see we have a problem. Megan talked to other counties that don't hire other people, but did they tell you how they handle this? Do all their JPs, respond? And that's the deal. We're here to find a solution. I don't feel criticized by the letter. I feel you have a problem. It needs to be addressed. And that's what this court is here to do,
that's right.
to address this issue. If we have to hire somebody so you don't have this problem, we don't get put in this spot, so we don't have this arguing and politics and all this, we need somebody to do the job.
That's correct. That is correct.
Somebody that you can contact when you need to contact them and do the job. Not saying it's gonna work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because there are gonna be issues where something happens, but.
Well, this is the thing, I talked to Judge Durant, okay? And in that statute where y'all were talking about the associate judge, there's times where we could use another county court at law. But like these counties that the sheriff's talking about, they have associate judges. And those associate judges are directed either by the district court or the county court at law, okay? So County Court at Law judge is here all the time. 4 district judges are rotating in different counties. So I've asked him if he would be amenable to taking, if we set a budget for an associate county court at law judge that would be under his direction to do the magistrations and potentially maybe hear some criminal cases, like appeals cases or some of the cases, pretrial stuff for him. Okay? So I was trying to come up with a solution. And so that might be a solution that this court can consider, okay? And that way, you don't have to create another county court at law. And he would only work at the direction of the county court at law judge. And the thing is, you got 4 district judges here in the felonies. Judge Duran and I are the ones here in the Class A and B misdemeanors. And I can tell you, I've got even 204 cases that were on the docket before I took office that are still there. And we're hearing cases and doing dockets all the time. I've heard October, November, December, I had 100 cases on between Tuesday and Wednesday. I said 50 and 50. Did 100 cases in October, 2 days, because I have to have a court report. So I scheduled a court report. October, November, same thing. December, same thing. So we're trying to make sure the docket is kept up with, okay? He's got child welfare court, he's got child welfare cases, he's got criminal cases, probate cases. I have probate cases, just like he does, along with my administrative duties. So if we're gonna do something along that line, I'm suggesting that we look at a county court at law associate judge that could do the magistrations. The thing is, they'd probably be doing magistrations every day. And it might be a scheduled thing where the weekends are taken care of. That'd be for Judge Duran, and maybe we could have that discussion. So I did try to come up with a solution today, okay? And I think that might work. The other thing is whoever that would be, that would have to be a criminal attorney. You know, they'd have to be an attorney, licensed attorney, doing criminal cases. But one of the things we did discuss was that that person could not do criminal cases, could not practice doing criminal cases in any of the courts. So if they're doing court appointments and doing criminal cases, then the other part is the salary and what that salary would be, okay? So that had to be taken into consideration.
So
That would have been the same for the
if they're
district
the
court. That
magistrate,
would have
they
been-
can't hear their case. I'm not,
If they become an associate judge, then they can't do private practice anymore on criminal cases, okay? So that would have been the same for the district judge.
So the direction that you're stating, or that you're saying you looked into is that we go away from creating a magistrate now and create an associate judge to handle some of that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's really no authority to just hire a magistrate. But if you want to do the associate judge, then I'm saying the best of both worlds is to help us in the county court at law. And in the county court on dealing with some of the criminal stuff and the appeals cases. He gets all the appeals cases by statute. That's in the government code. He gets all the appeals cases from all 4 JPs and the municipal courts, okay? And when that county court at law was set up, it was statutorily required that all appeals from justice and inferior courts shall be filed with county court at law, okay? And the NRLA did that. So, you can think of how many, that's appeals on evictions, that's appeals on criminal cases. So that would really benefit the county. And if they're hearing criminal cases or just sitting on the docket, then
I think
usually there's a byproduct, and it's not the goal, but usually when courts are being active and they're collecting fines, then there's a revenue that kind of goes with that too, okay?
Yes, sir. Well, I think that we do have the option to hire a magistrate, though I just don't know if that was a Senate bill or there was something passed with that, because I do know there was a previous person for the county who wanted to have the commissioner's court enacted and make that person a magistrate to do magistrate duties only for the county.
So what
So
would
that
that,
was,
what would that statute, how would that happen? I heard about doing a temporary justice, And I looked at that statute, and on a temporary justice, that has to be like one of the justices of the peace is sick, maybe having some major surgeries and gonna be out for a while. And, a temporary justice can be appointed, okay? But that has to be by the county judge that makes that appointment. In concert with whoever that JP is. In other words, county judge can't just go appoint somebody, he's gotta work with the JP to decide who that person will be, because they're gonna be sitting in their place, while they're out on some kind of medical leave or something. So that's the only thing that I know of. I don't know of anything where we can create a magistrate. I got two JPs, or three JPs sitting here.
But what I just don't want, Judge, I just don't want it to be, because we're all officials. And if you were to create that, let me see how I can say, if you were to create that for the county court of law and an assistant go with it or whatever, and they be directed, I just didn't want it to be, or if you say you have the JPs here, anything to be any kind of official oppression. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to be where someone is leading this position by the hand, and that's why we're talking about last court, getting with maybe the district judges, somebody let one of them be over as an official over there. So I just, we were trying to come up with answers. No one know what we need to do, because this is new coming up to all of us. This is a gray area. So we're trying to work on this together to come up with a solution, to make a solution to the problem.
Judge Rand indicated that big counties like, I think maybe Collin or some of the ones the sheriff alluded to, that essentially they're doing some of the associate judges stuff. And a lot of times, because they don't want to create another county court of law, because now you're talking about court reporters, you're talking about office staff, because another county court of law is gonna have a whole, whatever the legislature creates a county court of law, their statutory court. And they can designate, it could be just for probate, it could be for probate criminal, they can have concurrent jurisdiction with the district courts like ours does. So but the thing is, whoever that person is, they ought to have to answer to somebody. And if it's just somebody that gets appointed to something, and they don't have supervision, then now you've got somebody that's not elected by the people and that's having authority over people getting in and out of jail, making sure their rights are all protected.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I
There
think
was
the
something in
district
there about
judges
the
would.
magistrate,
Yes.
Rashad, that it had to be kind of approved or appointed by the district judges.
District judges, and it had to be an attorney, something like
That's
It
right.
said district judges or county court of law.
District or county.
Okay.
that. Okay.
District or county statutory courts. So that's not me, that's the county court.
That's right.
They're a statutory court. That's what that statute. So, I mean, I try to come with some kind of solution. If y'all wanna look at that, I think it needs there's gotta be a little bit more information put together. But, on how that would work and, exactly what they were designated for. And then if we did it for the county court of law, that would alleviate, make sure some of these cases are needing to get heard. You got DWIs, you've got family violence offenses that, and, I mean, I mentioned this before, sometimes you got an arrest on one felony and then you got 3 misdemeanors. Well, one felony goes to the district court, there's 4 district judges there. 2 or 3 misdemeanors that get filed end up coming to Judge Duran and myself. Mark can tell you that the docket, I mean, we've talked about another county court of law before, so this might be somewhat of a remedy for doing that without having a whole budget for a county court of law. So,
But it's gotta be done now. Something has to be done
Sir?
now. Something has to be done now. That's the whole problem. All the other counties I talked to, their JP's taking care of it. Before, our JP's and yourself who took care of it. Now that don't happen no more. So we gotta do something now because he's in a situation where he needs something today. So we gotta come up with a solution pretty quick. And I don't think today we can take any action on it because you didn't put anything on there about that, right?
well, I didn't know where we were gonna go with it. All I was trying to do is come up with some kind of idea or solution. So, that'd been, I mean, we put it on the next agenda and we can come up with.
I think he'd like to.
Let's let the sheriff talk now.
Well,
'cause
Yes. you might wanna-
I noticed that, what Commissioner Chapin noticed is that there was no ability to take any action, even if y'all invented the best plan in the world today. Legally, we couldn't take any action on that because it wasn't included as an action item on the agenda. You'd have to call for an emergency meeting, and if you called for it now, it would be 72 hours from now. But we'd still be able to take that legal action at that point. Yes, the statute for the existing, to appoint associate judges does already exist. No new law has to be affected there. To clarify something for you, Commissioner Mims, there is an ability to create a magistrate's court, but that has to go through the legislature. And so that would be kicking the can down the road, and it's not a good option for us right now. It may not even be a good option later. Denton County did that. And when they create that, the judge that sits in that magistrate's court sits there by contract. And so they can dictate and tell them what they need to be doing. You come Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, whatever the contract says. And that's where one of our problems is now, is that the statute says all the people that can do a warning, but it doesn't say who has to do the warning. And it covers everything from a mayor of some little bitty town in Texas all the way up to the Supreme Court justices of the Texas Supreme Court. That's where our problem lies. The county judge identified a bunch of other problems, and I don't think it wasn't my intention to mislead you when I said, 15, 17 in the jail. It affects the jail. That's why it's titled that way. It is a convenience that you come there. I don't think the statute says anywhere that the word office for me to bring them to your office. It just says bring them before the judge. And I don't think you wanted me to bring them to your house or anything like that. So there's two places they are going to be. They're either going to be in an office or they're going to be in the jail. Because if we started going by the strictest interpretation of the law, I could just knock on your front door at 9 o'clock Sunday morning, and nobody wants anything like that to happen. We don't want to create security risk. That's one of the reasons I don't want to transport somebody to a facility where I cannot maintain security within that facility. The 24 and 48-hour rule, it kicks in on misdemeanors and felonies, as you said, Judge, and we have to remember that, and we have to also remember the best interest of the community, which is, you pointed out several times about the magistrate's legal review of probable cause. Even if a peace officer is doing this, he can't do that. He doesn't even look at probable cause because it's not in the statute. The peace officer also can't put bond conditions. And the peace officer also can't issue EPOs. So you could have the peace officer, in this case it would be me, making a bond on a felony, family violence, that needed all of that protection for our victim in our community, and we couldn't do any of it. And it puts the community at risk when we don't. And the only answer that I've heard so far that even begins to address the ability to solve this problem is the one you brought up at the end of all of that, is an associate judge that's hired to do this specific thing. And I think that's where we're at. If we don't have a system in place otherwise that is covering all these hours, then we're going to have to figure out as leaders of our community how we're going to protect our community best.
Judge Durant told me that he would do it if this court chose to put a position in there. So he's on board with that.
I applaud his, strength in supporting our community.
Say that in court today.
So he would be over the associate judge. And,
Yeah, so you'd have one supervising judge over the associate judge. Okay.
And how, since you and him have had the talks and none of us have, how would y'all, so would this be like a full-time, part-time? Would this be?
Well, that would be something I need to sit down and talk to him, probably part-time.
Yeah, just some clarity on it.
I'm not saying it needs to be a full-time position, but we did talk about trying to try some of the appeals and him, whoever that was, to take over the appeals, possibly in that court, and then do the magistration. Might be some pretrial stuff that they can do to expedite some of these criminal cases, so. I'd be glad to talk to him some more and see what we can accomplish.
Yes, sir, just to give us some clarity on it, the way y'all feel it should be structured and what you see fit for them to do. We know we need to ease the load. And I think that if that's the best possible solution, which the sheriff has said it himself, I think we may need to look in that direction.
Well, it would, I say this, it would benefit the taxpayers of the county doing that from a standpoint of moving criminal cases and making sure the sheriff gets his magistrate.
But we are not talking about starting this position with the 2025 budget. We're talking about
No, we'll be
creating a
talking
new
about
budget
it.
and enacting on it.
Every year.
Yes, sir.
It says-
Declaring a, emergency declaration and declaring a new budget part now for that.
Well, I mean, we just have to create the position. We'd have to use existing funds,
Yes, sir.
so, to make the position. But I'm thinking part-time.
Okay, so,
Because if they're hearing criminal cases, you're gonna have to work with, either a contract court reporter. If we had a whole new office, you'd have to have a court reporter full-time office staff.
yes,
So
sir.
we do this, there's contract services, that's what I use. If somebody's a court reporter, that's scheduled to come in and do the trials. Okay. And so you probably use courtroom across the hall, like Judge Tran does from time to time.
Could you give us, more information back on this by next commissioner's court?
Yeah.
2 weeks be good enough, or I think it's
I'll-
2.5?
I'll give them Megan and Judge Duran and try to come up with at least some type of comparable part-time salary or something like that.
If y'all
See
can get
how
us
we
a
work
budget.
it out with the budget, at least to give y'all more information.
Yeah, we'd like to have a budget and see. where
And
we'd
that
like to
one
structure
person
it.
handle all the magistrates. That's what that'll basically do, take it off of the.
Well, I'm thinking, I can ask the JP, if we hire an associate judge, probably y'all not doing magistrations anymore, are you?
My point is, if you're gonna hire somebody for the job, and you've got magistrates already in this county, enough to cover.
That's what I'm
everything to do it. And I've been doing magistrations for the last almost 39 years.
Judge,
And I go once a week now.
can you come up here? 'Cause
That was a question I
Y'all
wanted
have
to
some
ask,
input.
and I'm glad you brought that up, Judge.
I can't speak. I can't speak for anybody else other than myself. And like I said, I've been almost 39 years of doing this. The JPs have historically done as a courtesy, the week that we were on call for inquest. And our on-call sheet, the correction on that is just for inquest. It's not for magistrations.
And that's at the top of the list.
That's in the top of the list, and that's been that way ever since I've been here. I've been the one drawing the rotation up ever since I've been here. I took it over from a judge before me, Judge Edie. And so I've been doing it ever since on it, but it's just for inquest. But as a courtesy, I'm on call. I'm tied down for that week because of inquest. I go to the jail. I get up on Saturday. I go on call at 5 o'clock in the evening on Friday. Unless it's a holiday, I'll have covering the holidays. But I go to the jail Saturday mornings, take care of those. I get up before I go to church, go to the jail, do them on Sunday, Monday, and all the way through to Friday. 8 o'clock, I go off call, but I make rounds on that Friday at the jail, and I've been doing that ever since. Now, what the other judges do or don't do, historically in the past, the rest have done. 3 of us right now are doing them, going to the jail. So you got a week, we're talking a week span in there. So if we're not gonna take them to the judge in Elkhart, and I know some circumstances to why he is doing what he's doing, whether justified or not, but I know why he's doing it. Number one, he did the video magistration. The problem that he was having there was getting stuff scanned in. So he was spending all day doing that. I don't have that problem because I got to drive by the jail every day going to work. So it's easier for me to just to go in, do my paperwork there and be done with it, and I'm through for the day. And then I can wait and go do it the next day on there. He was having problems because he was doing video magistration. He didn't want to go to the jail, so he was doing video. Couldn't get the stuff scanned in, so he quit doing that altogether. Now, he has, out of his own mouth, has stated He's not refused to see anybody. He's just not gonna go to the jail to do it. They can bring them to him, he'll be glad to see them. Now, that's a whole different story, and like I said, I'm speaking for somebody else, and you'd have to ask him that.
But there could be another reason, and you remember when O'Neill Hunt was a magistrate and justice of the peace in precinct 2, and went down there to magistrate, and the inmate attacked him in the back of the jail, broke his glasses and hit him in the face.
Well, there's
You remember that?
there's inherent risk of going down to the jail out there, and the safety factor is involved in it. And I've been told by district judges, Judge Lawrence, I don't know if y'all remember Judge Lawrence never liked the judges going to the jail. He said he didn't feel like it was proper for us to go to the jail. I've done it just sheer as a courtesy. I've also been a peace officer in the past too, so I mean, I've worked in the jail, so that part doesn't bother me. It might bother somebody else that, hasn't done. So I haven't felt like I was unsafe being at the jail, It's probably more unsafe driving out on our streets than it is being down at the jail, so. But the only thing I can do is speak for my own self, but what you're coming down to is you've got a week. Essentially, you've got a week that you need covered.
Yes, sir.
Because as far as I know,
Everybody else is-
everybody else is going on ahead and doing their job, going to the jail and doing that. And like I said, it's not necessarily their job, they're just doing it because it is a part of it. Because we've got a whole group of magistrates. The district judges are magistrates, they can be doing it too. One of them actually has done some, and that was Judge Fletcher.
She did someone else.
Yeah, she's done some, and, and I realize what the problem is. I realize, I don't want to go do it because I hadn't been doing it in the past, and now all of a sudden it's been thrust upon me, and I don't want to do that, but the only thing I can tell you, gentlemen, that I will continue to do what I've been doing since I've been in office.
Yes, sir.
But if we were-
I'm
I've
not
always
taking
seen.
on somebody else's
Yes, sir.
tub, but
The,
I'll do what I'm.
Study, the history of y'all have always done it, it's just the way it's always been.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the statute says that y'all shall, that it
No,
doesn't.
you
I
won't
understand
find,
that.
you won't find
That's right.
JP listed on there.
That's right.
Part of their
I've
duties.
seen that. But it's just always been that way.
It's
And I
just
told
always-
Cherokee County, and they said their JPs always take care of it with, I think, the county judge assistant. But now you've got one that doesn't want to do it at all with the jail situation. I guess they could take them to him.
No, he's not refused to see
Yeah,
them.
that's what I'm saying.
He's just he's just saying that they're gonna have to be brought to him.
That's what
to
I
see
just,
them.
that's what I say. He don't want to come to jail, bring them to him.
Yeah.
But, I just heard that if we hired one to fill that position, then some of the other ones might feel like, well, then we'll drop out. You know what I'm saying? And that was just hearsay. It don't matter, but I don't know what the solution is.
Well, what he's brought up would make a great difference on that is the fact is that if you hire an associate judge out of county court at law would be conducting business up there that, of course, like I said, all of our stuff that's appealed is appealed to county court at law, not to county court. It goes to county court at law. That's the way it was drafted up many years ago, and matter of fact, I was working for the county when they did that.
But it just costs the taxpayers more money.
It's going to cost taxpayers, obviously, yes. Any new job you create
Yeah,
costs
and what the
taxpayers money.
JPs have done for it has helped the taxpayers tremendously over the history of Anderson County as far as that goes by doing it.
Correct.
But
the only thing I can add, put to it is that I will do what I've been doing since
I
I've been in
appreciate you.
office, and I'm not gonna change that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Any questions or anything?
No, sir, I have none. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Yes, Wesley, you said you wanted.
Good morning.
Morning.
I do want to clarify one thing. When you go to CCP 17.033, there's more to that than just what's being stated. It talks about arresting without warrant and the authority of the sheriff. It's talking about people that's not been arrested on warrant, where no probable cause has been determined by a magistrate. And he has the duty, if a magistrate has not determined probable cause. And I believe Sheriff will agree with the fact, I told him, scan it in, email it to me on a Sunday. I don't care. I can determine probable cause sitting in my house. It doesn't mean I have to go set the bail within 24 hours. I just have to determine the probable cause. Okay? So there's not a requirement that I have to jump up, run to the jail, look at the probable cause, see the inmate, set his bail right there. Okay? Multiple AG opinions talking about the statute requiring magistrates, what their duties are. And the last one was actually done by Ken Paxton. And essentially what it's saying is when you look at the fact, just because JPs have always done it, it doesn't mean that they're required to by any reason. And no one can say, well, because you've always done it, you're still required to.
That's right. There's no way.
And I've had comments made to me or around me about, well, you just need to do your job. All right? And this is from another judge who refuses to go to the jail or to magistrate inmates. But I need to do my job. And the other JPs need to do their job because they knew what that job was before we took the office. Okay? So it's kind of like, I realize the statute said I have to go too, but because of my position, I'm not going to. It's your job to do that. The next thing I found of interest is under a Greg Abbott opinion, number 0993 to be exact, is whether an arrested person may lawfully waive his right to be taken before a neutral magistrate and be admonished in accordance to Article 1517. Basically, what it comes down to on the very end is except for a capital offense, we first note the mandatory duty. Let me see. For this instance, this office has previously concluded that a prosecutor could waive his right to receive service by certified mail, even though those are mandatory duty to do it on certain things. And because of that, they determined that if an inmate is arrested on a warrant, they have a bond that's already set, especially these release of surety warrants that they've already been seen before and determined any kind of conditions as things, and the bondsman just went off on the bond. If there's a bond amount which is required to be on those warrants, and they can get out of jail by posting another bond 30 minutes after they get to the jail, it states in here, the arrestee is clearly the person intended to benefit from the magistrate's admonishment under Article 14A of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Thus, in answer to the second question, we conclude that an arrestee may waive his right to have a magistrate personally recite the admonishments of Article 1517 of the Code of Criminal Procedure only if he does so plainly, freely, and intelligently. And I don't know of too many inmates that get to the jail and have a bond ready, and a lot of times they'll even have a bond in the folder waiting for us to come magistrate them. They could have been out of jail the day before. Okay? I don't care where this is resolved, okay? But the bottom line is, my job is not to do someone else's job. That's why when Judge Johnston sees someone, I'm not going to turn around and see the same person too. That judge is responsible. They were brought before her. It's her problem, not mine. What y'all do about it, I don't care. I will go to the jail. I will continue. It does work out better if I have them brought to my office, but with medical appointments, my mom's medical appointments, things like that, I've just given up on trying to schedule them to come to my office. I just tell them, I'll come to you, okay? I don't go to the jail on Sundays anymore. I go Saturday, and I go Monday through Friday. And I have no intention of changing that. But folks, when it comes down to somebody telling me what my job is, and they don't have a clue what my job is, I have an issue with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Well, I for sure, Judge, I can't speak for the whole court, but there's nowhere in the language that states that it's your job to magistrate, and I've never insinuated that.
Well,
So I
I
hope-
understand, it's not you,
Yeah,
gentlemen,
and I
okay?
commend you for what y'all done
Understand that,
for
okay?
this community and these constituents. And I appreciate you for everything you've done, so.
But I just want to make sure that, you know, y'all are the ones that have the decision to make contracts, decide how this is going to go. My job is to take care of my business the way the laws required me to and the way that I feel like it serves the public, okay? And beyond that, I don't care about the politics. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge West.
Do you want to say anything, Ms. Ladson?
I haven't heard much about, I'm one of the lady judges, so.
She's not old enough to speak on that.
Could you come to the podium could you come to the podium where you get all your comments, Judge?
That's for Mark. Can't hear you that far away.
I'll continue also going to the jail. They call me even on the week the other one will not go. I go because some of the inmates don't need to get out on a $5,000 or a $10,000 bond, or they need an EPO, anything. But I'll continue doing what I've been doing.
And we have been rotating some on the week that we've been filling in.
Yeah, so,
I'll say that you've been helping on that.
yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody was stacking that paper, she got my agenda.
You have mine, but
Yeah. Got a bunch of notes on it. Just to reiterate, I wasn't ever saying we had a problem with the other judges. They bend over backwards. And I included Judge McKinney in that he has put himself on the rotation. He's been there. I said that 2 weeks ago. We brought people to the courtroom. Thank you. Before. It's just, in the end, the sheriff has, we've been talking duties. Sheriff's job is really simple. He's only got 4 jobs, 4 things he's supposed to do. 1, run a safe and legal jail. 2, secure the courthouse and protect the participants and occupants of the courthouse. 3, serve the civil process and criminal warrants of the courts. And 4 is preserve public peace. So one of the biggies is, of course, the jail. And this one causes us a lot of problems, not being able to find someone to do the magistrates and establish that probable cause, because that's the big issue here. So, just a food for thought, and perhaps it's been covered, but I want to make sure I throw it out. If that's an associate judge at the county court level, would that, and he was being supervised by the county court at law judge, would that potentially cause a problem for the appellate process on all cases coming from the JP courts? Because they're either going to the county court at law, well, he's supervising, you know, if he's the one doing the warnings and stuff, do we have a conflict of interest? So maybe it might be better served as it was an associate from one of the district judges' offices. They don't hear any appeals on misdemeanors coming up from the JP courts. Just food for thought. I think this horse it's a little bit dead. We've still beaten on it, but y'all have a lot to think about so that we can, all of us, look out for the best interests of Anderson County and the citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The point that you made is, if they're doing magistration at the jail, then the only thing they might do is set a bond on misdemeanor. But on Class C, normally that's gonna be the municipal. So, I mean, if they're down there taking pleas on Class Cs and all, the JPs are doing that, because associate judge cannot take a plea. In other words, the original jurisdiction, and y'all can help me with this, the original jurisdiction on a Class C misdemeanor, I can't take a plea. If I go to jail, I really can't take a plea on a Class C. The original jurisdiction for that case is with the justice courts and the municipal courts. So I don't think that would pose a problem. I'll talk to Judge Strang about it.
Yeah, but if there was a finding of guilt, whether it's plea or finding, and there was an appeal that would never go to your court, it would go to Judge Duran.
Somebody said, I think Judge talked about. Do what?
Oh,
You can set bail.
Yeah, I can set bail, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not always being done.
He said they're not doing it, they need to.
They're overlooking the Class Cs on there, and they're still hung up in his jail or in the jail.
If he go ahead and set bail, to clear up.
When the magistrate saw him, all he had to do is set bail. You take it, if it's entered as a not guilty, if they're not guilty, not, and set bail.
I'll talk to Judge Graham.
Yeah, my only thought is that if there was a finding of guilt, when it gets appealed, it's never coming to your court, because you pointed out it goes to a statutory court. If there was a finding of, if that associate county judge set the bond and there was a finding later, if the appellate might go to him because he holds the same status as the county court at law statutory judge. That might be potentially a conflict of interest with your court. It never is, because the appeals don't come here.
Well, if that's the case, then Judge Graham might have to hear that individual case.
Yeah, I'm just,
Instead of an associate.
yeah, just throwing that out there, just so that we have the option of the, court to examine what's available. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, sure.
We got one more deal, and that's, so let me ask a question. You want me to get with Judge Duran and see if we can, and the auditor, and see if we can come up with a possible proposal for the next court?
I'm like Judge Dodd said, it's just a shame that we have to create a position, if we can't get this worked out some way. But I mean, I guess we can ask and find out, see what the numbers are. Go from there. See who else might be available to fill the deal. The municipal judge here, I guess she does the Class Cs. You say she can't do the A and B, but then you said there's no contract saying that she doesn't. But then you're saying that she doesn't have particular training to have access to something, so.
I'm saying it's based on the input of
So does that something needs to be
the
fixed?
information I got from DPS
Okay.
and Office of Court Administrator. I'm not saying there's not, I'm saying, I tried to get that information.
But like with the mayors, they say the mayors can also magistrate as well. Do they also have to have that same training? I know they're not paid,
Anybody magistrate has to have.
but he's not paid, you know what I'm saying, to magistrate as far as that goes. He's not compensated for it, you know what I'm saying? So if that's an option, that we could talk to some of them to see if we could get some help during that week, and that some of that could change.
To who?
Some of the mayors, you know what I'm saying? They said mayors are magistrates as well.
Well, if they're gonna do it, they would have to have all that training, and I can promise you, there's a lot of training.
So they're not eligible
thing is-
unless they have the training. Gotcha, okay.
The other thing is you gotta make sure that their constitutional rights and all the things that are done under 1517 that it requires you to do are done. And I don't know that a mayor could take a plea. I don't.
Yeah, it's the only thing it states in the deal that if anybody that can, was the JP judges, the court of law judges, district judges, and the mayors. It just said, I didn't know.
I'm not inclined to go that direction. So, but if you want me to check on the associate judge and come back with some numbers and proposals, then I'll do that for the next court. You said something about a special.
No, not.
I've got some, equipment that I might have to, I'll find out tomorrow that I need to declare surplus, and I don't know if I'm, so till
Or
tomorrow.
like an auction or something.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. I just didn't get it on this court agenda to declare some item surplus, but I'll speak with them Wednesday, so I'll know if we need to.
So we're gonna pass on 16 to gather more information for the next court. Is that okay? With everybody?
That's really
Yes.
not an action party, is it? Or is that the
No.
last one?
No,
We wouldn't have to take any action right now.
It don't matter to me. You can check on it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ask him what he thinks.
All right, next item is, consider and take action to transfer an office desk with return and 2 office chairs from the county storage to the sheriff's office. And, Chief Webb called me about, trying to, get an office, some office furniture, especially a desk for a position there at the jail, so, James was also, we went down and we found a desk with a return and 2 office chairs that's in storage. They were intended to go to the auction, but I just wanna make sure they were transferred appropriately back to the sheriff's office. Cause I know at least the 2 chairs I put on the agenda, they came from the veterans office. So I just wanna make sure that we made that designation, so I'll entertain a motion to transfer an office desk with a return and 2 office chairs from the county storage to the sheriff's office. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all opposed. So, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Dixon, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mills, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so ordered. Adjourn.
Oh.